Right, watch what happens. I'm not calling him, I'm just going to turn around. So I'm now facing this way, totally the opposite way. Don't panic, don't stress. Your dog will return. And do this training in open fields like this, where there's lots of room. Look, see, they're still miles away. I haven't called them. Just ignore them. And this is how you'll get your dog to always come back to you. The easy way. Don't do this in a park where there's loads of distraction and other dogs. See, watch, keep going. This is where people would be panicking. They're going, we're getting too far away from them. Don't panic. Keep going. There's no distractions here, nothing to distract them. So they will come to you. And then when they come, look. Then when they come, good dogs. See, I've not had to do any work. Good. And sit. And that's where you would have the treat. But because my dogs always get it. Now that's all you have to do. So, break. So you don't have to scream, do you get what I mean? You don't spend 20 minutes screaming at your dog, because watch what happens if I do it the opposite way. Come here, you. Come here. Watch, I'm following my dog. Watch. What will you do? Come, look, come. Look, watch. It turns into a game. And what will happen is, if you've got one dog, it'll keep running away from you. And all you'll do, you'll turn it into a bad habit, where the dog, every time you're screaming and shouting and kind of losing your, waving your hands and doing all kinds of things, maybe throwing a lead in the air, the dogs will run away, because I think this is fun, this is a game. Same again, watch, they're clearing off. I'm not calling them, I'm just going to turn away. Oh, I've got people distractions. That's the only time you'll get a problem, when you get distractions. But again, look, to follow. I think you get my point now. Come, seats. See, that's what you'll get like, and that's where you will reward them now. But see, that's what he's like. Well, I got distracted. I had people crossing the path, and obviously that's going to distract the dog. But the reason I've jumped in with this one is this is one of the most important ones ever. Because if you can't get your dog to come back to you, you're going to have situations where if you take it out into the countryside, your dog will run off. If you take it into parks, you're just going to have chaos. Any other green areas where you want your dog under control or near close to you, especially when there's sheep or anything, you're supposed to have a dog on a lead. But you know, there will be situations like if you've got a rucksack, backpack, and you're going across countryside, you can't have dogs on the lead, because you might use hands for hiking poles, and you have the backpack on, it would be just too much, you know, of course, chaos. You'll be pulled to one side, you can end up going over. So the thing is, you bring your dogs to an open space like this and do it for weeks and weeks and weeks. And then, as I say, first of all, you're not doing any commands, you're just getting the dog to respond to you and come back to you, because you are the centre of attraction. You're going to have treats, you're going to be the person that dog wants to be close to. Then you can bring in the commands, like the sits, and give it praise when it's coming to you. And then everything all knits together, you know, you combine everything with the commands and the dog coming back to you. But if you start shouting commands like come, and it's just running off, they say that every time a dog ignores you once, it's making the problem 10 times worse. In other words, if you shout at a dog come and it just runs off, and then you start chasing it or going and following the dog, you're making the problems 10 times worse than it should be. So bring yourself to a field with your one dog or two dogs. It doesn't matter, you can do it with two dogs, they will follow. Trust me, pack syndrome again, you know, it's a cliche, but it's true. Dogs want to be close to people. I mean, I've got sheep in that other field, but they're not interested. They want to know what I'm getting up to. That's because already my dogs are trained. But you would have a wild dog at first. When I say wild, your dog will be out in the countryside at first, and they'll have all these smells it wants to pick up and all these things it want to taste and all that. So it's going to ignore you for the first couple of times. But once you start getting that dog to come back to you and giving it praise when it does, and then getting to sit, giving it treats, trust me, it will be second nature. And you do that every time you go out into the countryside or whatever, and the dog will just naturally come back. No need for commands. Look, I'm not giving a command at all. the dogs will want to be close to you because you are the center of attraction. You're the one with the treats, you're the one with taking them to the good places, and it's all about trust again. You've got to have that trust. But I see so many people bringing the dogs out and they're screaming because the dog won't return, then they're chasing the dog, then they're kind of waving their leads, and I see them blowing whistles, and you know, if the dog has got a lot of nice smells, it ain't gonna come back to you. You can scream and shout and do what you like, but the worst thing is doing that scream and shout and you're going to be pushing the dog further away from you because it's going to be turned into a game. So just do that. Take your dog to a field where you look, there's always fields around. You can pick a good time, it's quiet as well, but you mustn't have distractions. You can't have rabbits running across that field, or you can't have people playing frisbee, or you know, other people with dogs, because that would destroy any kind of training you get in. But to make it easy, as I say, let your dog off, it's gonna roam, and you're going to see it go too far and you're going to go, oh my god, and you're going to start panicking. Do not panic. That's where you're going wrong. The panicking is going to cause the problems. You stay calm, you're in charge. I'm backing off now. Look, my dogs want to come. It's just natural, it's instinct. They will want to follow. And it's all about that trust. Now obviously if you get a new dog that you just rescued, doesn't know you, you've only had it about 3 days, and you let it off in the field, it's going to run off, and it's going to clear off because they don't really know you. So you build this bond with it. If you get a rescue dog, you get a dog for a couple of weeks, give it 2-3 weeks, build that bond with the dog, and then start, as you feel comfortable, then you release the dog. You don't kind of bring a new dog out that you've only had 2 days, release it and expect it to come back to you, because it still doesn't understand you. But doing the basics, as I say, you let dogs stray, turn your back, walk backwards, totally ignore the dog. Don't scream, shout, don't keep looking over your shoulder going, oh my god, where's my dog? Because that turns into a game. He thinks you're playing hide and seek. But look, see how the dog followed. Then when it comes to you, do the commands. You can do the commands. Come, see, you can start bringing the come in now. Seats, Stella stiff. And this is where you would give the treats. Look, he's looking for a treat, bless him. But that's what you would do. Look, he thinks I've got a treat. Good, break. But that's what you would do. See how easy that is? You know, you're going to see tons and tons of channels telling you this is how you do something, that's how you do something. They're not wrong. Everything works differently for different people. But this is something I've done over 30, 40 years with dogs. And you're going to get times where the dog's going to ignore it. And the dog, when he ignores you for that time, he is not, or she, doesn't, they hear you. They're doing it purposely. Now that's a different issue you're going to address. Now if the dog does that, because it's got into the customer coming back and heeling and sitting, but sometimes you get it ignoring you, again, no stress, no flapping around, no screaming, no shouting. When your dog eventually comes back to you, put it on a lead, start walking it and give it 10 minutes on the lead. You're showing the dog you are in charge, you are in command, you are the one that gives it its freedom. If you start shouting, screaming and kind of all kinds of ranting and all that, it's just going to cause issues again. You're going to get dogs just like, they're like children. They sometimes want to ignore you. They sometimes, you know, they do it purposely. They play, I mean, he's terrible. Boys tend to be worse than girls. Girls always want to be clingy, I think. That's my personal opinion. But going back to my point, you'll see tons of videos, tell you all different things to do. Treats, whistles, clickers, a whole load of things. I'm not saying they're wrong. This is my way of doing it. This is my way, you know what I mean? I find it extremely easy and it's always worked for me. And I've had some aggressive dogs. I've had some really nasty dogs that I've rescued. You just, different dogs, you've got to take different times to get that bond. And once you get that bond, they will work. I had someone once say to me on one of my videos, heard you shouting at a dog. Well, you know, shouting at Rebel, I think it was, when you were very young. He went for a stage where, as soon as I turned my back, he'd be down there doing something stupid. And I know what he was doing, he was playing me. And I was getting sucked into that habit of shouting at him. And then I caught on, because the person pointed out to me, they were correct. You know, in one way they were correct. I shouldn't have been doing that, but they only saw part of the video where I was actually doing it. So you sometimes you get into a habit yourself. It's quite easy, and it start shouting out, get here, get here. But all you're doing is they'll blank off, they'll shut off to their own kind of shouts, because they go, oh, he's shouting again, or she's shouting again. Why should I listen to them? So make life easy on yourselves. Anyway, I thought this was one of the most important, because when the dog's on a lead, you've got it on a lead, there's no issue. But I see so many people struggling with the dogs when it runs off, or they can't bring it back, or whatever. And trust me, if you do this in open field for weeks on weeks and weeks and weeks, trust me, it's not a 2-week thing, it's not a 3-week thing. You've got to do it constantly. And I still do it with mine, but now I bring the commands in. Like, come! See how he turned? Come! Stella will be a bit kind of slower because she's old, but, and see that, look, see? See how easy it is? As I say, and all you did is started like I did, sit. And look, this is where they were waiting for the treat. Oh, bless them. I've got treats in the pocket, but I've got my hand on one phone and I'm doing the command. That's also a good thing. Do hand gestures sometimes. Show them that you're bringing them to you. You know, it all works, because when the wind's is strong, the dogs will not hear you because the wind is strong. So sometimes doing a hand gesture, they'll see you coming toward, telling them to come towards them. But as I say, this is not a 3-week wonder course. You know, you do it 3. Look, he's roaming off. Let him go. Now watch what happens if I see. I mean, trust me, that dog wants to sniff and scent. But look, see how I'm walking away from him? Watch, he's going the opposite way. So I walk away. Every now and then I'll turn, because I'll make sure there's no distraction. Look at him. See? They want to be close to you. They want to know what you're up to. They think, hey, he or she might have found something better than what I can find up here. See, it makes life so easy, doesn't it? And I know I'm making it look easy, but that's with trained dogs that I've been spending months and months, well, years training. But trust me, that's how you start it. This is how you get it. You know, I see people doing all these kind of other things, and it's just too much to learn. Make it easy. So I hope this helps someone. You know what I mean? Try it. Get back to me after like 2 months of doing it with your dog and tell me if it's worked. Because trust me, it will work. Even with the hardest and stubbornest dogs, it will work. Right, hope that helps.